Freddie, my love, I miss you more than words can say. Freddie, my love, please keep in touch while you're away. Hearing from you can make the day so much better. Getting a souvenir or maybe a letter.
I really flipped over the gay cashmere sweater. Did I seriously sing that?
It's about time you knew the score. But hey, I get it, Marva. You're not only fresh out of the closet, you're also fresh off the book.
Thank you. And I was perfectly content to continue, which I would have been able to do if you guys didn't bust a gut or bust my chops about my little malaprop.
Technically, we were delayed by your little serenade. Rehearsal stopped cold because you had the hots for the titular Freddie and Freddie, my love.
Cut the gas, Francine. Winifred doesn't even go by Freddie.
But you really did a number on her, didn't you? Of the onstage goings on. And you, Marva, were going and on about Freddie, your love, crooning and swooning and mooning all over her. It was gutsy, yet gutsy. Humiliating, yet exhilarating. All in all, a perfect way to convey the affection with which you are filled. You could flirt with all the guys.
Exactly,
but...
Francine. Unlike Rizzo, my character Marty flirts with all the guys, bats her eyes, and...
Marva, guys. Jeez, do I have to spell it out for you? Okay, yes, I do. Guise, as in the guise of thespianism. If I were, I'd do something a little more outrageous, advantageous, courageous. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Lousy with affinity for my best friend, she living, and I cream like a
Okay, Francine, you've made your point. You were miscast as Sandy. You'd be Buffo as Rizzo.
Why be a pink lady when you can be a vegan lady? Which is why you need to follow in my lead before someone slightly less subtle swoops in and steals Winifred off her trophies. A girl like her is cruising for a schmoozin', but with a positively peachy personality and a pair of passion-hit perfect lips. She don't need no city but to be smoking hot.
Yeah, she's the gingiest. Anyone would be kooky not to have a crush on her. Wait, are you
Cuckoo?
a threat?
Of course, I'm not a threat. This is musical theater. I'm a triple threat.
But I thought you were, you know.
Hey, just because I am a scintillating synthesis of King Fairy Godmother and Glinda the Good Witch does not mean I am straighter than a magic wand.
You're getting your musicals mixed up.
Well, like I'm getting them fixed up. You know the lyric in your solo about someday being held in Freddie's arms? Well, I am angling for an ultra clutch. Now, since we're in rehearsals, it may not be 5 to places, but it is most definitely 10 to 1 that you had better act on your feelings before the curtain closes on your chances. As my alter ego Doris Day would say, whatever will be mine.
You better alter your ego, Miss Sandra Dethroned. You said you saw me crooning and swooning and mooning all over her. Did you happen to see her doing any or all of the above in a mutual manner?
Are you asking Francine, your friend, or Francine, your romantic?
That depends. Is doubling allowed?
Absolutely. as Norma Desmond declared, I can play any role.
I wish I knew which role Winifred wants to play. Freddie, my love, or yours. Wonder what she's doing now.
Being dutifully delinquent, that's what. She stayed after rehearsal to get fitted for her Frenchy wig, remember?
Yeah.
Can you believe Winifred, of all people, is doing a rendition of a beautician? Bet she can't wait to drop that cloth.
You should have seen her at slumber parties when we were kids. She would play ice cream parlor, pizza parlor. She would even play tattoo parlor, but she would never play beauty parlor.
Winifred balks at blow dryers.
Cringes at curling irons.
And she hates that hairspray.
Are you kidding? I am severely smitten with hairspray. Marv and I first saw it in the 7th grade, and the very next day I went out and bought saddle shoes just like Petty Fingleton. Then I returned them because they looked too much like pandas, and I was afraid I was committing animal cruelty. I know, the whacker, the berry. Speaking of which, my Frenchy wig really razzes my berries. Unreal, right? Because normally I don't do do's, but this one is just so nifty. If Gwen Verdon, Pippi Longstocking, and Little Orphan Annie put their heads together, they get mine. Hey, did you hear? We might be doing Annie next fall. Too bad I'm too old to play her.
It's not just the age, Winifred, it's the aesthetic. Little Orphan Annie would have to grow out of her ugly duckling stage. No, she'd have to deliver a good hard knock to its homely hiney before she could have the privilege of being played by you.
I played Annie once. Yeah, and not just any Annie. Annie Oakley. I was a real pistol. In fact, my performance was, well, you had to be there.
I was there, silly.
It is pretty silly of her to think that just because she played some sexy sharpshooter in a show, she somehow has a shot with you, isn't it?
A shot?
Yeah, a shot like of Novocaine, like the demented dentist refuses to give Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors. Now that's a show we should do.
Yeah, and you could call the principal character the unprincipled plant Freddy too, if you're A-okay with that sobriquet, Winifred.
I don't know why, but I'm beginning to experience more curiosity than all the cats and cats combined.
If memory serves me correctly, the friends to lovers scenario has been done before. Plus, you couldn't possibly prefer a real-life ingenue / dream girl next door to an honest-to-goodness prima donna who makes Motormouth Mabel's colossal confidence seem supremely undersized. Could you?
Marva?
Don't ask.
Okay, then don't tell me more, Francine.
If we could start anew, I wouldn't hesitate.
Oh, yes, you would. You are habitually hesitant, Marva. And BTW, FYI, that lyric you just quoted from the song Tears in My Pillow, which is from the screen adaptation of Grease, not the stage show, making it entirely incompatible with this conversation, yet another reason why the queers in your pillow remain singular, not to mention single.
You know what, Francine? This little love triangle, it's
A love triangle?
Don't flatter yourself. That's my job. Although it would be marvelous if Marva could lighten my load a little. Unfortunately, instead of being somewhere over the rainbow with you, she's somewhere that's green with envy by herself.
Did you ever think that maybe it's hopeless for you to be so devoted, Francine? You want to talk compatibility? Okay. Winifred and I, we go together like Eva Perón and Patti LuPone. Winifred and you go together like Lena Lamont and Lena Horne.
Finally, you're picking up your LGBTQs. Listen, I'm not sorry to tell you this, but Marva, I am not your romantic rival. I'm your matchmaker. In fact, I'll bet you do, as evidenced by your acute obtuseness.
How was I supposed to know you were putting me on?
Is this because the performing arts department is putting on Fiddler on the Roof in the spring and you've got a yen to play Yenta?
I'm sure we can all agree that I'm much better suited for that part than I am for the part of your love interest, Winifred. As it turns out, I can't play any role, nor do I want to. Have neither of you noticed that I've been casting an eyeball at the Catty Bratty Patty and another eyeball at that tween unspeaking Eugene? Of course you haven't, because you two have been too busy being hopelessly devoted to each other ever since freshman year, and probably prior to that.
Better helpless than Marva, less, I guess.
Ooh, that gives me an idea. Next semester's scene study class will unofficially be known as Francine studies. Well, you must admit my performance was unmatched. As a result, the word no longer applies to you guys. Hopefully. You are relieved, not peeved, that I deceived you, right?
Well, like Oliver, the narrative of any good musical requires a twist. This must be ours.
And who wants to be in a love triangle anyway? Love triangles are so square.
In other words, you'll thank me later. I mean it. I expect an avalanche of appreciation for activation ASAP. Oh, and remember, girls, a relationship is not a hairdryer, so don't blow it.
I like her, but not like that.
Ditto. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. I feel like I've gone up on my lines. You know, I've got that major jittery feeling that you get right before an audition. But I've also got that ever so slightly suddity one I always get right before the cast list is posted.
Are you hoping to play the role of Pink Lady friend?
Only if there's a possibility of an extension. My heart is set on more than just a show-mance.
Oh, I can pretty much promise you an extension. Do you have any idea how many times I've stood in front of my mirror practicing my I have a dream girl speech? I'd say, hey Marv, I get a kick out of you. And you'd say, oh, that's sweet, Winifred. And I get a side kick out of you. I was so sure that when you'd finally come out, you'd finally come on to me. But alas, you did not. You better shape up, because I don't need a man.
I am in ship shape, okay? Relationship shape. Did you take any initiative?
No. Because I was afraid if our relationship didn't work, our friendship would go kablooey.
Kablooey? Phooey, I mean, being a couple won't be a cakewalk, obviously, but if I'm going to go singing in the rainbow that I prefer dolls to guys, I won't be all wet if I do it as a duet.
So instead of being all booed up, we'd be all dolled up.
Sounds swell. Freddie, you might.
You could say it.
I can call you Freddie, or I can call you my love.
That all depends on your answer to Frenchie's all-important question. Was it love in first sight?
Well, we've known each other since we were in first grade, but once I started noticing girls, you were the first girl I noticed, so yeah. Yeah, it was love at first sight. What about you? With me?
I have almost always marveled at you two, Marva.
Then I guess all that's left to do is to lace up our saddle shoes until we're tying a lot they can never sever.
Want me to pair said shoes with my gay cashmere sweater? I totally have one, you know. Roy G. BIV stripes wrapped around my foam-free domes and upper arms. Which reminds me, next time we play tattoo parlor, I'm drawing my name on your bicep and vice versa.
Is that a prerequisite for holding me in your arms someday?
Someday? Listen, Marva, come tomorrow, we will be closer than a pooch on a poodle skirt.
Wow, okay, sure thing. Thinking about it, my heart's pounding already. Also, my stomach is twisted up like a balloon animal, and if I were a milk bottle, you could knock me over with a softball.
LOL. But also SOL. That carnival scene is from the screen adaptation of Grease, not the stage show. Plus, neither of those references is even relevant. You've seen the scene. I was there. So everything involved in this conversation is woefully incompatible.
Except us.
Obviously. Now that we've got that squared away.
Yes.
Now we make our true love vow.
I just got to see your heart fluttering like jazz hands. I patiently and patiently, I'd be rewarded with a clear view of the on-screen goings on. And when it comes to this friend to lover scenario, it's clear that you two have got it going on. Come on, they'll always be together.
Shall we act upon our matchmaker's mandate?
We better. She definitely made it sound mandatory.
No kidding. Well, good night, my someone. See you tomorrow.
It's only a gay away.
You log off first.
No, you log off first.
I won't be upset if we do it as a duet.
Fine by me. Freddie?
Steady. Go!
Freddie, my love. Freddie, my love.
Our social media sponsor for this production is the Beginners Call Theatre Podcast. The Beginners Call Theatre Podcast is a chance for new theatre creatives to share their views on the industry and how we can all work to make theatre better. Follow Beginners Call Theatre Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and check out their podcast on Spotify. TTS Virtual Fringe producer Ryan Thornhill is featured on episode 3 of their podcast.